Welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're going to play around with some pop and swap signs, and I have an entire new way to do them. So in my head, this is going to work. We will see. It's a little bit crazy, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a version that had almost like a garden here at the bottom. And so I kind of figured out some way with some popsicle sticks and a bookmark and some other things that we're going to be able to modify this so that when it's sitting, we can have like a floral nesty base here at the bottom. And that is what we're going to be doing today. And we're going to be doing this with popsicle sticks. And I'll show you kind of everything else that I have. Let me make sure. I want to see if I can get the chat here. And I probably should make sure that we are live on the page, because if you joined us over the last couple weeks, you will know that we have had some fun technical challenges with the good old Bookaroonie. And yes, okay, it looks like we are live. I just want to make sure that it worked. Mostly my challenges are when I'm trying to go in the groups, but you never know. You never know. All right, I am going to be using some of this faux moss. And this was a lovely gift from Miss Deborah Bowman sent me this because I've not been able to find this brown color. She sent me 2 bags. So sweet of her. So this is the first time I'm going to be able to use it on a live, but I wanted to give her credit for that. I have got my Pop and Swap frame. The one that I'm going to be using is this Esther. So this is the Pop and Swap frame already put together. These are the tiles. So this is one that we did a couple weeks ago. And so this is what we're going to be making the tile, creating the tile to fit inside, because we're going to be modifying the little, the tile that comes with it. So with your frame, you get 1 tile, and then we sell the extra tiles. You can get them singles, 2 packs, 4 packs, I think is the best deal. And then you can just switch them out however you like. So you buy the display 1 time, and then the tiles are endless. So we're going to be modifying this today, and I will walk you through that. I see people tuning in. Hey, Michelle from Sacramento. I've got Lauren. Monica's here. Elaine is here. Hello, ladies. Okay, what else do I have? All right, so popsicle sticks. This is what I am using. So I have got 2 of like the large ones, and then I've got 2 of, we're going to call these medium ones, because like your typical popsicle stick, like your regular one is like this little guy. We're not going to use him today. I think he's too small. So we'll need 2 of each of these. One is going to be our cross, and one is going to be part of these 2 are going to be part of our modification. And then I have one of our bookmark blanks, mainly because I thought I could do this with just the popsicle sticks, and maybe you can. So I'll show you kind of what I'm envisioning. You're going to have to go on a little journey here with me. And then what else? I've got some flat greenery. We've got our moss. We're going to need some, this is just ripped linen. I get this at Walmart. And then these were the little like faux baby's breath from last month's kit. Obviously I have a bunch extra. So I have one of those. We're gonna chop those up. Then for our papers, excuse me, I've got 1 little scrap paper. And then I've got a button, just a wooden button. And then for our papers, what I'm going to be using is the Amazing Grace. This is from the Rest in His Grace Rice Paper 4-pack. This is one of the sheets in the 4-pack. We've used this one before. I had to dig it out again because I wanted this hymnal background. We are working on a set of rice papers that is all hymnals. It's not out yet, but personally, I can't wait for it because I needed it today. And then we're going to be using this transfer here. This is from the He Is Risen transfers. These are currently only available to members, but we're going to be using, I'm actually just going to be using the word part right here. And I've got my transfer tool. I have got my iron. Let me grab my glue gun, because you know she's always on the charger, because about 30 minutes before I go live, I go, oh, I should see if my glue gun is charged, and it's not. So I have to throw it on the charger. It happens. Oh, we're also going to need some heavy-duty clippers. Now, these are ones my husband gave me. Scissors might work too. It just depends on how strong your popsicle sticks are, because we'll need to cut those. I think that's it. I got my water. I got brushes. We do need a base coat, because with the rice paper, it will be thin. You can kind of see if we just decoupaged it right on here. It's the design is not really going to pop because it'll get transparent once we put the Mod Podge on it, which I need my Mod Podge. So we are going to have to base paint this. Hey, Rashonda, Miss Karen, Miss Cindy, Miss Deborah. I gave you a shout out, Miss Deborah. Miss Deborah Bowman's on the live. She's the one that gave me the moss. I'm a little nervous about gluing it. I've seen y'all using it as like a little nest and gluing it. It might get a little messy. Brace yourself. It's probably going to get a little cray-cray. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Now, this one I did ahead of time because I needed this glue to dry before I got on the live. And so I already made this one, but I will show you what we're going to do. Basically, we're building up, I don't know if you can see, we're building up a base because when we have our pop and swap sign, I want it to go in here, but I want to have a spot down here where I can make my little garden and I can have a big area to like glue everything to. And so I made one ahead of time. So I'm going to show you how I made it, but then we're going to work with this one because the glue's been drying for like the last 30 minutes or so and it won't fall apart on me. If I tried to do this all together and then show you, like as we're putting, this is going to still slide around and it won't be stuck and everything. It'll be a big mess. So that's my little prototype I did before. Hey, Miss Laura. So let's start by, let's just glue it together. Now, here was my thought process in not doing the decoupage first before I attached everything to the bottom. I have had instances in the past, and if you don't have this, if you haven't had this challenge, praise the Lord. But when I have tried to decoupage the paper first, and then I try to glue everything to it, sometimes the glue only sticks to the paper and then it like comes off. And since I wanted the wood like stuck, because we're going to be popping this in and out, I'm actually going to do the paper secondary. So I think what I will do is I will paint these first so they can dry, and then I'll show you how we're going to put everything together. But I'm just going to get this started to paint first. And then as I'm thinking, I'm going to grab a brown because this is going to be over here. And if I paint this white, then it's just going to make that show up more. And really, I want it to be more camouflage. So I'm going to take this brown truffle and we're just going to do a rough coat of paint on this base. And again, I would just match this to whatever you are using for your bottom, for your little garden. Like if you have greeneries, maybe you want to paint it green. I'm just thinking a dark color might help it camouflage a little better because honestly, I'm a little nervous about gluing all this moss here at the bottom because, again, I've never worked with it. And I'm on a live, so why not, right? Why not learn live? All right, so we're going to just give that a quick coat. We're going to do the same thing with the white, and then I will show you how we're going to cut and glue everything. I just wanted to give that a minute to just dry. Hey, Miss Christine. I know. I was wondering about you, Christine. We, because of the daylight savings, again, you guys always know we're in Arizona. We don't recognize it. So typically it wouldn't. You would think it's great, oh, we don't recognize it, but really it messes us up because I've got to change my whole schedule to make sure that I'm live at the correct time because I just say Pacific, whether we match up to Pacific or not. So really, for me, we do have time change because I've got to change everything to make sure I show up at the right time. So I was wondering if Christine was going to show up at the right time because for her it moved too. Hey, Miss Lauren. Hey, Miss Lisa. All right, so we're just going to do a quick, this brush, the whole top part of this brush is like not moving. It's solid, which I believe means I need to replace this brush at this point, but I forget. So it's not very flexible. And I think I'm not even going to put it in the water when we get done here. I think I'm just going to drop it right in the trash because this is what happens while I'm using it. I think this brush is garbage and then I just keep going and then I wash it and then I grab it again next week. All right, I'm trying to be careful not to pop off this bottom that I have on here. We've kind of made like a little stand. Like you could stick stuff in here and it would stand up, but that's not what we're going to be doing. But again, if you're just joining us, you didn't miss anything. This is my prototype. I'm just going to paint it really quick and let it dry, and then I'm going to show you how I made it. But I just wanted it to be drying while I show you. And again, this is another Pinterest inspiration. I saw a sign that I loved, and I was like, oh, I wish we could do that on a pop and swap. And so then my brain just starts working on, okay, how can we do it? I will tell you, I think some of us were just born problem solvers, and that is me. I love puzzles and I love solving problems. It will make me frustrated, but I'm just naturally a problem solver. So, all right, we've got our little prototype here. I'm going to put that up there, and then I'm going to show you how I made it. And this is going in the trash because we're not fighting with that brush anymore. Life's too short, right? Okay, so let me show you how I did it. So you're going to take your larger popsicle sticks here. We're going to need 2 of them. So we're going to stack them right on top of each other. It's okay if your popsicle sticks are bendy. Mine are bendy. All right, so what I did, just to try to figure out an idea of what the width I need on them, I just put them underneath the tile. Try and it helps if the popsicle sticks are straight and the tile is straight, so let's do that first. Oh my gosh, do you want to know some insider information I'm so excited about? Has to do with these mats. We are designing a kids mat, and I think we just picked the final design yesterday, and it's so cute. So for all of you that have littles that craft, or littles that love to craft, or grandkids or children, we're going to have one especially for them, and I cannot wait to show you. Okay, so we just drew our lines to figure out where to cut. Now, I will tell you, I had to cut these quite a few times. We'll see if I'm any better, but you can go inside the line. It doesn't need to be exact, but it does need to fit inside the tile. Meaning we don't want it like overhanging. So it's okay, because I had to cut them a bunch of times. It's okay to go like a little bit on the inside, because it's actually easier to cut them the first time than it is to cut them a bunch of times. Get out. Okay, this one I pretty much did exact. Now the only thing is, and this is what I was trying to do, is I kind of measure. Okay, so see how it's not just dropping in there? Okay, it's better for it to be shorter than it to not drop in, because we don't want it to catch on the tile. So again, just go a little bit more. And these are going to be behind our bookmarks, so you're not even going to see them. So we just need to make sure that they fall into the tile. Okay, so that one's good. So we're going to do the same thing for the other one. This is a good way to get your frustrations out too. If you're like having a day where you want to punch somebody, maybe just get some popsicle sticks out and just get it out. I have a tendency to cut kind of crooked. So you can see they're not perfect by any means. In fact, this one is just a hair longer, and I cut crooked. It's just how I do it, I guess. So again, just give them just a little trim. You just want to make sure that you're not going to have any problems. So again, I'd rather it be shorter than be too long, because you're not going to see these. Okay. So we've got both of those. Those are good. All right, this looks good. Okay, let me get these little pieces out of the way. I don't have a color yet, Christine. We haven't even thought about colors yet. We do designs first and then colors. So, and then we also wanted it unisex, so you could use it for boys or girls, because I will tell you, and I've shared before, I have had the hardest time finding art stuff and art projects and art kits for my son who loves art. There's a ton of stuff for girls, but if you have a boy that likes art, like everything's girly. So I'm very intentional about creating things that boys can use as well. And so we have not picked a color yet. Rashonda says it's so exciting. Her granddaughter will love it. She's not mine by blood, but she should have been. She's super crafty and we love doing projects together. I love that. Yeah, I think it's going to be, we haven't actually decided either. Maybe some feedback would be good. We were going to do, I was leaning towards the smaller size, but I don't know. Maybe we want the larger size for kids because I don't know about yours, but mine makes a larger mess. Okay, so you'll notice if you do 2 popsicle sticks, that brings the frame up to flush with the topper here. So that's the first part we're trying to do. We're trying to bring the frame flush, and then we're going to make a little panel that goes over the top. We still need to cut this one. That goes over the top, and that's going to drop down over the front so that we're not gluing anything onto our frame. Now, if you wanted to glue all this onto your frame, you totally could. My goal was to make it so that this is a way that you could do it and use the same frame and not have to buy another frame, but don't let me stop you from if you want to just glue it to the frame. Okay, so we're going to need our bookmark to be the same-ish like length. So I'm just going to do a little cut there or do a little line to give me an idea. And again, I'm just going to cut it. And this is going to be the panel that we glue everything to, like you kind of saw from the one I painted. Also, be careful with this stuff because you might get it might get a little slivery. Don't be like trying to give yourself a sliver for sure. Don't do that. All right, so let's just make sure everything. All right, we're good. Okay, we'll still have to keep using this to space everything, but I think we're done with these. We'll put them out of the way. Make sure that stays on. Okay, before I assemble everything, I'm going to, again, just multitask. I'm going to put my Mod Podge on here because that can dry while we're gluing all this together. And we will just keep being efficient with our time. So we're going to do the dry method decoupage or iron-on decoupage. So we'll just put the Mod Podge on here and we will let it dry while we are doing our assembly of the other things. So I'm just going to do a light coat. I'm going to cover the whole top of this frame. Mind you, we've still got to cut our paper and all that stuff, but I'm like, look at me multitasking. All right, we just want to make sure we get our edges, get a little bit underneath. The only issue with this is, and again, if you want to assemble it in a different order, that might be better. Because ideally I would have done the paper and then put the topper on, but again, because of this live, I know it won't dry in time and I needed it to not be moving when we were gluing the stuff to it. So that's a little tip there. I might do it that way if I was doing it again. All right, you got your E6000 and we've got our 2 popsicle sticks. We're gonna glue them right to the bottom. So we're just gonna put some on here and put some on here. And none of this has to be perfect because we're not going to see it. Remember, the bookmark's going to go right over the top. All right, so I just stuck this one on good. And I get it. Okay, so here's a good point. See how this popsicle is like bending up? It's not flush. So that's probably not one I want to use for the bottom. So I want to use one that is going to not fight me. So this one is doing a decent job of sticking. It's a little bendy on this end, so I'm just going to add some more glue. Woo! I don't know. Usually this isn't that smelly, but it's smelly today. Maybe because my fan is on. Rashonda, yes, there is a Bible verse on the mat, and the verse is, "You are fearfully and wonderfully made." It's so cute. It is so cute. Yeah, all of our mats have the Bible verses on them. When I very first released the mats years ago, the very first one I did not have a Bible verse on it. It just had a saying, and that was only because I wasn't sure anyone would want the mat. We were new and I was just like, I don't even know if people are going to buy this. So we'll just play it safe, and sold out of that one. And then ever since then, we've only done Bible verses. Okay, so we're just layering. 1 layer, 2 layer, and then actually before I stick this on here, because I'm gonna need to know how far up to push it. All right, so I'm gonna drop this in here. I'll make sure it's all the way down. Whoa, what's happening? There we go. This is why we want everything to be movable. And you're gonna want your transfer tool as well, because what I noticed is sometimes you have to get here at the bottom and just like wiggle things up. Like they're gonna move around. Okay, and then we're gonna put our topper. Now, I want the topper to cover part of the frame, but I don't want it to go past the bottom of the frame, because especially if I'm leaning this on something, I don't want this to be lower than my scallops. So you kind of just find the area that you want it where it still has some room, or you know, just adjust it, because again, like if I'm putting the frame up like this, I don't want my little topper thing to go further down. So just be mindful of that. Once I have it in there in the spot that I want, then I did pop it out and just kind of make sure it just slid. Make sure that it is even, like straight across type deal. So again, you can use your mat for that. If I line up the frame with my line, then I can line up this and just kind of visually check it. And then from here, this is where it just has to sit and let dry. And that's what I did with the other one. So I'm going to just put that there. You don't want it to mess with it. If you need to put something heavy on it, because these popsicle sticks are not the straightest things on the planet, you could put like a heavy book or something on it, put some weight on it, a break maybe, and then that will hold it down if yours are kind of warpy. These first set that I grabbed were not bad, so I didn't have to deal with that. And actually, as I'm thinking now, I probably should have just antiqued this instead of painting it brown, but what else? Now that I'm thinking, because I was like, oh, it's going to antique. I could have just antiqued this, but it's too late now. Rashonda says she always uses a drop of hot glue for the instant hold, and then the A6000. That's a great tip. Yes. Okay. So with the popsicle sticks, this is what we're going to be using to make our cross. And so I am going to, I was not done with my cutters. I lied. We're going to cut them to fit inside of our frame. And these are going to be rustic ones. So I'm going to cut the bottom just straight across. All right, and that's going to tuck under there. And then I got to figure out kind of where I want the top. So I'm just going to eyeball it. The top, I am going to do crooky. See, I eyeballed it and I didn't even take enough off. So again, you can always cut more. You can't cut less, but you can start over. So don't stress out. And then these ones, same thing. I'm just going to cut kind of crooked, but like the same direction. That looks good. All right, we're going with that. Again, this is all just, we're just having fun, playing by ear. Move this over here. Okay, so we're going to antique these. I'm also going to antique my little button here. This is a wooden button. And so we're just going to brown these up a little bit, just so they don't look so new. I'm kind of super excited about this. I'm not going to lie. Like, you'll see it come together here in a second. But yes, the kids mat is going to be a little bit, we haven't even ordered it yet. We're just, again, just finalizing the design. But I want to have it for summer, so it might be May-ish, but it's coming. Okay. While we have our antique out, I am going to do the little tag that I'm going to be using. So let's do that next. Scissors. We need scissors. Rashonda says it looks great already. Thank you. All right. So with our transfers, you don't have to use the design exactly how it is. We're going to use this design, but I still want to be able to use the flowers around it for something. So I'm going to be mindful when I come in. I'm going to come in where there's a break around the flowers. And then I'm just going to cut this square out so that I can use the flowers for something else at some point. And I'm literally just cutting out the middle. And this is the verse. He is not here, for he is risen. As he said, come see the place where the Lord lay. And I thought that would be such a sweet one to have on the cross, because I know he was in the tomb, but I just thought it'd be so cute. Okay, so we're just gonna carefully cut that out. There we go. So we cut out the verse in the middle. We still have I just cut right in the break of one of the flowers. And then I still have these I could use for other things. We waste nothing. Lucy, the purple mat is coming out next week. I need to write the emails. The members will have access on Monday, and then everyone else will get access on Tuesday. All right, so I'm just going to put that right in the middle, and we're going to rub it down. Yes, that is on my list of things to do, is get that launch ready. Hey, Miss Diana. All right, so here is our transfer tag. Okay, don't panic, but what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a little crunch-a-rooney. The more you crunch it, the more, whatchamacallit, personality it's going to have. So once we get that a little crunched, we're going to come in here and we're going to hit it with the antique wax. I didn't add any more to my brush. I just am kind of going over it so that it doesn't look so new, because we don't want everything on here to look like brand new, right? These will look a little beat up and worn. All right, so now we have more of a rustic worn tag. So we'll put that aside. We got that. We got these. I think we're done with this. Yes, I'm excited for the purple mat too. I know, my husband's like, you should switch out to the purple. And I'm like, no, people will get their panties in a wad if I switch out to the purple and they can't get it. I actually forgot we need to antique this as well. And I'm going to be making a bow with this. I'm not actually sure how much I need, so I'm going to just make a bow first and see approximately how much that is. All right, this looks like a decent, but I'm going to give myself more because it never works out the way that you want it to, like, you know, when you're doing it. All right, so now we have this. I forgot we do need to antique this as well. Well, you don't have to, but I'm going to. So I'm just going to come through and I'm just going to drag the fabric. And we'll do both sides because we're not actually sure which side is going to show up when we do the bow. And this is a cream color already, but this just kind of softens it a little bit, or, you know, again, just makes it look a little more rustic and old. And again, I'm just using what's on the brush. I don't have to add more. All right, you're gonna have all these little strings and everything. That's fine. We can deal with them later. All right, so there we have our dirty little strip of fabric there. I'm like, okay, oh, because I was like, where did the thing go? Okay, now I think we have everything. So the next thing we need to do is cut our rice paper to fit our sign. So I'm going to use this as a guide. I'm just grabbing my friction pens. Also, somebody asked about these. I can't find them on Amazon anymore to share. All right, I had it. One thing that you can kind of do before is figure out where, like, what part of the design you want. I was looking at it last night and I kind of wanted it to cut off right here, like right on this line here. So I didn't have like a word floating, you know. And the other thing I needed to figure out was where to start it. And so I know I want to line it up with this line bar of the music. And so it looks like that top, I need to have it lined up with the second bar there. So kind of give yourself an idea of where you want it to be. This one helps because it has the music bars. And then I kind of have to see where it stops here. And it's probably most important to get that stop part decent so I can like tuck it under there. All right, so I did it on the back. If I was using a pencil, I would do it on the back. But I am gonna cut this with scissors. And then I'm gonna come and use my, what is that thing? The guillotine kind of cutter to cut the bottom straight. Because I know I'm not the straightest cut with scissors. And I'm gonna figure out where that was. I didn't mark it. Well, I marked it on the outside, not the inside. It's fine. I'm gonna cut a little bit outside on that one. All right, so I'm just gonna give it a little nip right here because that's what I need to line up with. All right, and then we'll just cut this off so we're not fighting it. I always save these scraps. We use them for something else. I've got a whole, I'll find something to use it on, especially because this part has the amazing grace with the number and everything on. This might even fit on a bookmark. Okay, let's get in the cutter. We're not stressing. Alrighty. All right, I just need to line that up. I'm just lining where I cut up with the bottom. And in theory, this should fit. All right, so we're gonna slide it under here. And it looks like we did it. Now, the only hiccup you would have is if your layer underneath is not straight. And in that case, mine is not. So if I glued it exactly like the bottom, it's going to be a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is I am going to glue it straight. So I'll adjust it so that it is straight. But underneath it's crooked. Nobody's going to see that. So the most important part is, do we have the line straight? Let's use our mat. Okay. If I use the mat, then I can line up the music lines here, and I know that they're straight. I just need to make sure I have it scooched over enough that I have paper covered. All right, so there we go. We are flat, we are straight. Hopefully our iron didn't turn off on us. It did, but that's okay. It's probably still hot. All right, so we're just gonna iron this down. Now, obviously we can't get under that fold. That's okay. Hey, Tamisha. Rashonda says she's already making her one of these tomorrow. Love it. All right, so we want to make sure. All right, so this side is coming up already. So it's always good to check. That just means I didn't get the heat on this part. So we'll come back and just hit this side more. I either didn't hit the heat or I didn't put enough Mod Podge. So if the heat fixes it, then you know it's a heat issue. Yeah, it was a heat issue. Okay, now we're going to take our sander. Now I am going to be careful here. I don't want to pop this off, so be mindful as you're handling it. And again, you could do this part before you glue the top on. That might be easier. And we do have to get everything off of the sides. And I have a little paint there because I do want to make sure that it pops in and out. All right, so I'm just going to clean up our edges here. Perfect. All right, so we've got our background. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited about this. It's coming together. It's coming together. All right, so we could put our cross whichever way we want. I think I am gonna center it. And I'm gonna use, am I gonna use hot glue or E6000? Honestly, the E6000 stresses me out sometimes, but I think I'm gonna use it. All right, so we're gonna go in here. This way I can move it. And we'll put some on there. I have to put the lid on so that it doesn't squish out. Again, using the E6000 just allows you to be able to like move it around if it didn't land where you wanted it. All right, so we'll put that on there. Figure out where I want the cross, kind of right there. Okay, so I'm gonna do, was it Rashonda's suggestion? We're gonna do a little bit of both here. I'm gonna put it to the side. So that it'll grab it, because we are gonna be pushing on it a little bit more to get the bow on it and such. So if your E6000 squishes out, I just take my transfer tool and wipe it off. And then just make sure that you wipe it off of your transfer tool right away so that it doesn't, but you can just use that to wipe it right off. All right, so we've got our cross on there. Next, we're gonna wanna do our bow. And as I'm looking at this, all right, I'll make my bow with this. I was wondering if I need to make my ribbon a little thinner, but let's just see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna make it too small and then all right, pull that through. So we'll have to kind of just adjust this to get it the right size for our cross. All right, some of these strings are giving me issues, so I'm just gonna snip them. I don't know if that's too big. I feel like it maybe needs to be like a little smaller. I was wondering if I should have cut the fabric a little thinner, but I didn't want to have like this big old tag and then a little bitty bow. Again, this is just messing. You just got to keep messing with it. All right, I'm going to cut some of these tails because I definitely don't need this long. And then we can keep just messing with it. All right, and then to get your ends frayed again, you're just going to come in here and like pinch this stuff. Then you can clip. But if you want to make sure that you don't have like straight cut edges, you just go and pinch it off. Dixie. And I might have to cut this other side a little. All right, I feel like that's a good size, but this tail's a little long, so I'm gonna give it a little trim. Dixie. I don't know about you guys. I have like 2 down for the count here at my house. Both my husband and my son are sick. My son is laid out on the couch. My husband has not left the bed. Well, he's left to get Gatorade, but the crud has officially hit our house. I might have to hole up in my craft room just to ensure that I don't get it. All right now I'm just cutting all the little strands that are kind of in my way. All right, I think this is what we're going to end up with. And then this, we're going to tuck this in over here. Now, I'm kind of playing with the idea. I have these like pretty scissors, and I feel like this needs like some pretty scissor action going on. These are like not the best, whatchamacallit, brand or anything. I think I got these at TJ Maxx or Ross or something. So they don't cut the best. Like sometimes you got to go in there and give them some help. But I'm going to go and just edge this just a little bit. Well, I'm going to try with my garbage scissors, but seems like right in the middle is where it wants to get stuck. I'm just going to make this just a little bit smaller because our cross is a little bit smaller there. All right, I'm going to leave the top because obviously we still need the top. I should probably invest in like a decent pair of these, but also me not breathing while I'm doing this. I'm like, there we go. Okay, so it's a little bit skinnier now. I feel like it was a little too bulky. All right, so it's gonna be something like that. I almost feel like we could. Where were these? These ones? What are we gonna do with these ones? I'm gonna come at this part at an angle, just so I don't have the corners there. There we go. All right, let's get this stuff out of the way. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rashonda. I know, it's going around. My mom actually called me this morning and was like, have you guys gotten the stuff? And I was like, funny you should ask. Well, I'm good, but like my husband and my son are down for the count. One of our employees' daughter had an earache earlier. Was it this week or last week too? So I know that's going around. Let me just get some of this. I know we're gonna need scissors, but we'll get this out of the way. Okay, I'm going to do this part last, but basically we're going to, and we can add the button now. We're gonna add the button here and we're gonna add that underneath, but I wanna do my little garden part next because I feel like this part's might hang over it, but we can put our button on our bow real quick so that can dry. Whoop. Oh my gosh. All right. Do you see how it's coming? It's coming together. Okay, now we get to make like our little garden. So the vision was, all right, we've got some of this. And I picked these because the leaves are flat. So I'm going to just snip off some of these. Ooh. And so since they lay flat, I figure they can, I don't know, kind of do a little, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, okay. And then we're gonna need some of this, which, by the way, this stuff is fun, but it's like super messy. So I try to get it so that I don't have to cut it, but sometimes you just have to cut it. Because I want it to look more like natural, but if you can like cut it in random spots rather than just like cut it straight, I feel that helps give it a little more natural. Instead of like a hard edge, you get like more of a nest. Yeah, Lucy, good point. Lucy says sometimes your body just needs a rest. I'm sure that's how it has been with him. Like he was running like crazy trying to get all the kits for this month done, and we were literally cutting them as we were packing them. We're caught up now, but I know that like gave him a run. Okay, that's pretty bushy, so maybe I need like half that much. I got a little aggressive on the nesting. I'm a little too excited about it. All right, we'll pull. I feel like I need like half that much. All right, put that back in the bag. Again, this stuff is going to be everywhere. Luckily, I have not vacuumed yet. Okay. All right, bring it back down. Okay, I feel like this is a better amount. So get an idea. I'm going to glue down my little greenery first. And then we'll go and put the, so I want it to like pop over, but I don't want it to, I don't want it to be buried. Also, this might be a little symmetrical. Sorry. That's just kind of how I am. Very symmetrical. I don't know. My brain needs things even. I can't do the random. All right, so I'm just going to kind of put them both at the same size. These florals I did get at Hobby Lobby. I don't know what they're called. Boxwood Pick. Oh, wait, no, these are Walmart mainstays. Boxwood Pick is what this is. Again, I like them because they're flat. So you can, but you could probably use any. Well, obviously you could use any. Okay, see, they're like kind of in the same place, but not going the exact same direction. All right, and now we need to attach this thing. And this is what's making me nervous, but I think we're just gonna, I don't know. We're gonna add some glue and hope for the best here. Then we might have to like stick more on there. I'm not actually sure. But this is why I wanted this to be completely dry, because I knew we were going to be shoving this thing on here. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I'm getting a feel for it. Just kind of shove some glue down there and then just kind of hold it where you want it. I'm going to tuck the edges in here. Now it can go over a little bit, that's fine, but Trying to tidy it up a little bit. I am glad I went with the darker. The antique probably could have worked, but I feel like the darker paint just allows it to like show through or not distract, I guess, from the moss. Now we might need to give it a haircut at the bottom. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so for right now, this is what we have. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of loving this. Oh, Lucy, I will. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Okay, I am gonna give it just a little trim. Okay, but we're not quite done because we need to add the flowers. All right, so we're gonna get this. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. We're gonna get this kind of out of the way. All right, and then we've got our little flowers. So I'm just gonna snip these off. I'm just kind of snipping the tips off. And again, this was the Baby's Breath from the kit last month, the 3-cross one. So if you didn't use it or you're not using it anymore, this is an idea. I don't know how many we're gonna need, so we will just see. Okay, so we're gonna try and grab these little suckers. We're gonna put the hot glue in there and we're just gonna like stick them in there. Again, I'm gonna struggle with this because it's random. And I struggle with random. I don't know, hopefully this is inspiring you and your creative brains are just like, of all the things that you could do. And again, this is just by adding that extra panel to the bottom of the Pop and Swap so that we had room to do this without gluing them to our actual frame, because we want to be able to use that frame for other seasons and other tiles. I'm already thinking as I'm doing this of an adorable nativity one that we can do for Christmas because yes, maybe we can make panels so that you guys don't have to do the popsicle stick. But in the meantime, grab yourself some popsicle sticks. All right, we're gonna do a couple more. I feel like I might need, I have a bald spot over here. Now, if you have a bald spot, you can always grab more stuff and like stick it in there. All right, maybe one more down here and then we'll call it good. Demetrius, that's so cute. All right, the magic is gonna be if I stick it in the frame and it actually works. Because again, I have not done this is my mock-up, but we should be good because the engineering is there, right? So, all right, again, I'm just gonna cut off my little edge here. Okay, let's put our bow on there and I can't believe you guys. I can't believe how cute this is. Okay, we're gonna push this one a little bit down. This is why I wanted to do this part last, so I could have the little tag go over. Whoop. Could go over the flowers a little bit. So I do want it more down to the bottom here. And then we'll add our bow. And then we'll put it in our frame. Hopefully it works. It should. We tested it. We tested it before, so we should be good. All right, I got glue strings for days because I still have not put my glue sticks in the freezer. Now again, this one's a little long. It's probably gonna bug me. This side is still a little long. Let me get my longer scissors. Monica says she was thinking about the nativity scene on the lines of how the crosses were made. Yeah, oh, that'd be good. We already know we wanted to do a nativity scene cutout that would fit the pop and swap frame, but I love the idea of making it so it had a spot for the nesty stuff, like in the manger. I don't know. We're going to have to play with designs because it needs to happen. Hey, Teresa. Aw, Rashonda, thank you. Y'all are too sweet. Okay, moment of truth. Here's our pop and swap sign. This is what the back looks like. So we're going to take it in. I'm going to slide the bottom in first. Oh my heavens. Okay, I've got glue strings for days. But how cute is that? Oh my gosh, I can't even. Okay, it came out way better than I even imagined. I know I say it every time, but this might be my favorite pop and swap tile. We've done so many things with the pop and swap tiles, but this just blows it out of the water. Okay, vision came to life. So those of you, if you joined late, what we did is we have got the pop and swap tile. We have 2 popsicle sticks underneath here that we cut. These are still moving because the glue hasn't set. 2 popsicle sticks to raise it up to the height of the topper of your frame. And then this is a bookmark that we cut on top of it so that we had a big base that we could glue everything to. And then we just built everything behind it. Again, the replay will be available. Y'all, this just blew my mind. I did use this frame. The reason, so let me just show you. This is the Bethany. My Bethany has a bow already on the top of it. Like it has the magnet on there. So that's why I didn't use the Bethany. But if you want to see like what it would look like, again, just pop it out. And then we could slide it in here in the Bethany. Let me do it so it covers the magnet. Well, I don't know if it will slide in actually because the magnet, it won't go all the way in because the magnet is holding the base, but just to give you like a little bit of a visual on a different frame. Now I could put it in here with and then add the bow to the top. So it has like a double bow if we want to get like super fancy. We are working on bow hooks so that you don't have to do the magnet. We just haven't got to it yet. But the Mary of Bethany frame is still on the website. What is that? Where's my other? I don't know where my other frame is. The one with the roses, but that's why I just grabbed this one because it didn't have a bow on it, so I knew it would fit right in there. But I'm loving the actual with the green, how I painted this one. This is the Sage by Waverly, I think. So it's more of a darker green. I felt like it was more versatile. We can get away with it for spring and fall. So that's why I used that color. But again, just be creative with the pop and swap tiles. They don't just have to be, these are other ones that we've done if you're new. This one has the cross on it. This is the one the members are going to do this month for the member bonus craft night. But you don't have to do that. You can just straight decoupage them and just do, we've done glitter, we've done just napkins, we've done just transfers. There's so many different options. So I don't want you to feel like you just have to put paper on it. We can get creative and do these things like risers and stuff like this where we can make them more versatile. So super excited. Oh, thank you, Rashonda. So that is the tutorial for today. So next week, was it Lucy that asked when the purple mat is coming out? The purple mat is coming out next week. So members will have access on Monday. It is the same verse in like a light lavender. The color is a purple. And that's going to be available as well as Soulful Sentiments Volume 2. So our #1 transfer since we've dropped it has been Soulful Sentiments. We've created a Soulful Sentiments Volume 2. So that is what we will be crafting with. So next week I will have the purple mat and we'll be playing with the Soulful Sentiments I'm not sure what project we're doing yet. I'm sure I have it down, but I don't remember off the top of my head what we're doing. But we'll play with those. And again, members will have availability to grab those Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific, and then everyone else will have access Tuesday at 7 a.m. Pacific to grab the Soulful Sentiments version 2 and the mat. And I think we're gonna have some restocks going on too. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. So super excited. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll take a picture so that you guys can see the finished. But again, I am excited about, I'm glad that I have another one drying right now because I feel like there's so many options that we can do with this, and I can't wait to make another one. If you guys try this, I know some of you were like, I'm going to do that right away. Definitely show us. You can share in the community group or in the membership group, or you can always email support@christiancraftpaper.com and send the image to Camille, and she'll get them posted as well, because we love sharing them with our community on social media and in emails to get everyone else ideas. Again, this is just one idea. I know this will probably spark some inspiration for some crazy stuff, and I can't wait to see it. And I'm a little bit sad that I have to leave this one in my office. I took the 3-cross one that we made last month for the membership, and it's in my living room on the big bookshelf that we just bought for all my plants. It also has spots to display some of these pieces, and they look amazing up there. I should take a picture and show you guys, but I want this one in my living room because it's too cute. Anywho, that is it for this week's Tutorial Tuesday. I'll be back next Tuesday, same time, same place. We'll play with some transfers, show you the new mat, and we'll have some fun. But until then, happy crafting!